The American Civil Liberties Union says the government repeatedly violated legal limits governing the surveillance of citizens. A report from the legal nonprofit group says the government failed to release telephone, email, or other communications that had been intercepted under the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, or FISA Act, of 2008. The oversight reports were released in a 900-page document.
Congress has actually made it harder for private citizens to enforce those limits, for private citizens to sue the government or, say, the telecom companies for cooperating with this kind of surveillance.
The documents indicate that there were violations of laws surveilling the public and that compliance breakdowns happen frequently, according to an article in the Washington Post.
If they make their own finding, not a judge, their own finding that you're involved with some foreign government or you're involved with some group that they think is an illegal group, then they can just do it.
ACLU's Melissa Goodman, an attorney on the case, said it is imperative that there be more public disclosure about the FAA violations described in these documents, as Congress begins to debate whether the FAA should expire or be amended. The ACLU says citizens' communications were improperly collected or targeted or improperly retained and disseminated. The documents indicate that the government has been less than direct about how information was obtained under FISA and how it was used.
Using someone else's telephone, they're supposed to not keep the other people's calls that don't involve you.
FISA gained popularity in 1978 to prevent Americans' communications from being tapped without a warrant. Lawmakers amended the law in 2008 to broaden and clarify legal authorities after the September 11, 2001 attacks. But some experts say Congress is abusing the law.
Even though it's now been 9 years since the USA Patriot Act, even though it's now been quite a while since there have been the first allegations about governmental abuses in this context, we still see a pattern and not just isolated incidents where the government is abusing its authority to conduct warrantless surveillance of U.S. citizens.
ACLU human rights activists sued the government over its use of FISA. They said that the new law violates the Fourth Amendment, which prohibits unreasonable searches. A U.S. district judge tossed out the case, but it is still being appealed. Colin Campbell, Press TV, Washington.